Hey team, welcome back. Last time we talked about how code can represent our daily habits. Today, we're going to dig deeper and explore some programming concepts: coordinate systems, fill, stroke, and finally, loops. Each concept is going to tie back to our theme of habits, making our visualizations of those habits even more dynamic and meaningful. You can create a new sketch by going up to File in the Editor website and selecting New. You can also delete this entire draw function. We're not going to be needing it today. First, let's talk about coordinates. Last time I mentioned that they work in a similar way to what you learned in math class, but with a twist. You also might remember from last time that we can draw a red circle at the point 300, 200 with a radius of 25 with this code. In math, the origin 0, 0 is usually at the bottom left. That here is the origin, here's the x-coordinates, here's the y-coordinates, and there's our circle at the point 300, 200. But if you try this exact same code on your screen, it's actually going to look like this. And that's because I'm playing a bit of a trick. I actually have some other code here to fool P5JS into thinking that it's in math class and to draw those cool axes on there. In math class, y-coordinates increase as you move up. But in P5JS, the y-coordinates actually increase as you move down. The origin is in the top left-hand corner. And so those are some important things to keep in mind. If you forget this, that is okay. Even I sometimes forget. I run the code, see my shape that it's in the wrong place, and I fix it up. The other thing you may want to know is how to change the background color. And we can actually do this with the background command. Now, before I hit run, make a guess as to what color you think this will change the background to. There we go. Let's make some shapes and learn about fill and stroke. Fill sets the inner color of a shape, and stroke sets the outline. Let's clear this out and put in some new code. So this code draws a circle with a fill that is red and a stroke that is 0 or black. Draws the circle at 100, 100 with a radius of 50. But you can also change the fill and the stroke separately. This code will draw a circle at 200, 200 with a radius of 50 pixels. It has a black outline because of this line, but there won't be any fill color. This means it has the background color inside. Let's try something else now. This draws a circle with these coordinates, radius of 50. It's going to be filled with a red color, but there's going to be no stroke outline. Whatever you last set fill or stroke to is what is used to draw the shape. So if you want one of these to change, be sure to change it before you draw the shape. Now, let's talk about loops. We can draw multiple shapes using loops. Now, for the health concepts of this unit, we're talking about 3 elements of a habit loop: cue, routine, reward. And I'm going to try to connect these to how a computer loop functions. I'm going to clear out some of this code just so we have more space to work. Okay, now, there's a lot here, so let's go it step by step. Here, the cue is this starting line of the loop. It's the line that sets it up. It creates a variable named I with a value of 0 and checks to see if the current value of I is less than 5. If it is, the code inside the loop will run. And this adds 1 to the current value of I for the next loop. The details, if they're a little fuzzy for you, don't matter so much right now. You're going to get to play with this later. The reason I'm showing you this is that it's similar to the cue for a habit loop. If you get the cue, you run the routine for whatever your habit happens to be. And so you can see this right here is the code for our routine. We're going to set the x-coordinate of the circle. We're going to set the y-coordinate of the circle. We're going to change the fill color. And then we're going to draw a circle. And because we're running this inside of a loop, this is actually going to run 5 times for I equals 0, I equals 1, I equals 2, I equals 3, and I equals 4. Because when I equals 5, this is no longer true, and the loop will quit. So let me fix one thing. This should actually be a lowercase l. Let's run the code. And so now you can see it's drawing a circle on the screen 5 times. And so the reward in the cue, routine, reward loop, the habit loop, is that we get to see the result of drawing that circle every single time the loop runs. This reflects how habits are often a series of repeated actions. As always, I want you to tweak the code to make it yours. Change the fill colors, move the shapes around, change the spacing of the circles, or use rectangles instead of circles. This is your canvas to practice and build upon what you've learned. You might even make the loops more complex. Here is the code to put one loop inside of another and draw a rectangle of circles. Today, we took a quick journey through coding and habits. We explored how coordinate systems, colors, and loops can represent and enhance our understanding of daily routines. Practice these concepts, integrate them into your code, and see how they can help you understand and maybe even improve your own habits. Happy coding. See you soon.